وإن كنتم في ريب مما نزلنا على عبدنا فأتوا بسورة من مثله وادعوا شهداءكم من دون الله إن كنتم صادقين. Ayah number 23. We're spending another lesson on this because we did miss out on a lot of information. Before we start, who remembers from previous lesson what was Surah? Yeah, the big walls, yeah, the ancient walls. Or those people who play Assassin's Creed, unfortunately, they can understand, yeah, the big walls are in the game. Or those who haven't, if you go to city center, they see these big walls. Yeah, they are, I'm not sure if they were built for that purpose or not, but they are built around the city in order to give protection for what is inside. So this is not a small wall, but they are normally big, huge walls like that. They are built around an area to give protection to it. So they are normally like the capitals or to protect the area. So that was basically a surah. And then we talked about how it's relevant to the Quran itself. This Quran is called a surah because there are so many surahs and 114 surahs. So every single surah has treasures in there that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has kept in here. And then we said surahs are normally built by kings. They're not built by anyone. So the surahs that comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He is the king of all kings. And now it comes from Allah from the above. And normally walls are built from the bottom. So when you look at it, they're huge walls, yeah. But if that wall which comes from the above, yeah, how there's like no way one can climb over it. So basically, these images are given to these very people who are saying, who are challenging, or who are saying, or who are denying Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Because this is surah of Medina, yeah. So the Yahud who are denying it and they don't want to accept it. So they are being given challenges. Go bring a surah from the books that you believe in, which you have diluted, which you have destroyed. Bring a surah from there, which has been revealed from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Let's challenge it. So what's going to happen if they bring something like that? It will look like a Lego wall in comparison to this gigantic wall that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about. So when people look at it, they will be laughing at them. So that kind of images are being given in here. Now furthermore, there are other ayats in the Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala challenges people in various different ways. They are challenged in groups. Like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, قُلْ لَإِنِ اجْتَمَعَتِ الْإِنسُ وَالْجِنُّ عَلَىٰ أَن يَأْتُوا بِمِثْلِ هَذَا الْقُرْآنِ لَا يَأْتُونَ بِمِثْلِهِ وَلَوْ كَانَ بَعْضُهُمْ لِبَعْضٍ ظَهِيرًا. That tell these humankind and the jinn to bring a Quran like it. Even if they were to come and help each other out, assist each other, the jinn and the humans, all they come together, they're not going to be able to do anything like it. In a different place, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala similarly challenges. أَمْ يَقُولُونَ افْتَرَى. These people say that Rasul has made these things up from himself. Is this their statement? Then قُلْ فَأْتُوا بِعَشْرِ سُوَرٍ مِثْلِهِ. قُلْ فَأْتُوا بِعَشْرِ سُوَرٍ مِثْلِهِ. Bring 10 surahs like it if you can. Yeah, this is like sarcastic way. Take an example so you can understand, yeah. Those people who don't know Ronaldo and Messi, they are football guys, yeah. So if you see someone see the flying kick of Ronaldo and other people see the dribbling of Messi or maybe Ronaldinho, whatever the guy is who's passed away, maybe still alive. So you see the dribbling of these guys, yeah? And this guy who's about 300 kg, and when he gets up from his place, he needs to rest for another 1 hour, yeah? And he's watching this amazing skills of these guys on the TV or whatever it is, and he says, I can do better than that. Yeah, then you'll be like, yeah, do it 10 times. Go on, show it. Yeah, it's that kind of mentality. Go on, if you think you can do it, bring 10 like it. So that kind of speech has been shown. And in a different place, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, bring a surah like it, if you can. And now in here is, because those surahs that are, we said there's 3 different challenges that have been given previously, and they are Makki surahs. Now here is the only challenge that's been given is in Medina surah. There are no other challenges that have been given in Medina surah. So this is the only one. So these Yahud are told, go bring from your books that have been revealed. You say these, we have books from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, bring it to the scene and see what do you have and what this Quran is talking about. Meaning they cannot produce like anything like it. Okay, going further. Now, there are many ways the ulama have said, and they have talked about the mu'jizat of the fasaha and the balagha of the linguistic of it, like how amazing it is. How those people at the time, the Arabs, who were they celebrities? Now our celebrities are music or drama guys or movie stars and sports stars and those things, yeah. But at that time, they were the poets. Those people who had the best saying, the best words that they could produce. They were known. They were those people who used to prostrate in front of them. They were those people who used to compete, and the best work used to be hung on the Kaaba. Yeah? We know these history from the Seerah. So these were the people. So they had such a pride on their words that they were the best basically. No one could touch them in their words. But they failed. How did they fail? They were ready to send their own sons to die in Badr and Uhud and so on, but they could not compete with words, just words. Why? Because they could not do it. This Quran is on a different level. So this is one way. Now looking at the history, these people or the historians say, oh, Rasul may have got this from the Greeks or from the Abyssinia and this place and that place. Like for how long did Rasul have to travel to search out these hidden archives, these hidden libraries to get the best of the work? And then some say he copied it from the Bible. The other day I took a book from the masjid here. And there was a passage in there, it was mesmerizing, like what this was. There was a passage in there, I think Ahmadi, that he has got a picture of it, where it said that there are 50,000 mistakes in the Bible. This was a poster that was in South Africa. That was he had a copy on it as well. Then I was searching some more in it, and even reading of it is like I can't even explain because there are kids in here. Yeah, so it I don't know what's in there. It's so much contradiction, so much filth in there that you cannot say these are the words of Allah Subhanahu wa Taala. There are good things in there, but the things that people have put in there. So they're saying they copied it from there. Like how would that make sense? How did Rasul, who was not learned, how did he manage to make sure that he did not copy the mistakes, that many mistakes? So, and they have revised it and revised it and revised it, and they have now the perfect. In those we got these many mistakes. Imagine what was out there at that time. So this does not make sense whatsoever. So that's why Allah Subhanahu wa Taala tells them, وَادْعُوا شُهَدَاءَكُمْ مِن دُونِ اللَّهِ إِن كُنْتُمْ صَادِقِينَ. We didn't do this part, so we will do this. And call upon your witnesses other than Allah, because they're challenging Allah Subhanahu wa Taala with this. So now bring whoever you can beside Allah Subhanahu wa Taala, whether they are your mulvis, they are scholars, whoever they are, or your assistants, who you call in a time of hardship, you call upon whatever your gods are, basically. Bring them together. إِن كُنْتُمْ صَادِقِينَ. If you should be truthful. Like they used to say, وَإِذَا تُتْلَى عَلَيْهِمْ آيَاتُنَا قَالُوا قَدْ سَمِعْنَا لَوْ نَشَاءُ لَقُلْنَا مِثْلَ هَذَا. When the ayats of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala was to be recited in front of them, when they would be told about it, they said, we have heard, we can do something like that. To Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala tells them, if you can, then do it. If you have the power to do so. So if you are truthful in your claims, do so. Of course, they could not do that. And especially in here, Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala is calling out these Yahud, because they knew, the Yahud at that time, the scholars, they knew, because it comes in the Quran in different places. الَّذِينَ آتَيْنَاهُمُ الْكِتَابِ يَعْرِفُونَهُ كَمَا يَعْرِفُونَ أَبْنَاءَهُم. They knew the Prophet. They used to talk about it. They used to be so proudful, because they even say in the history, they traveled to Medina for that land because they were expecting a Prophet to come. So they were waiting for that. So they knew everything, but they were hiding it. So Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala is calling them out. Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala are exposing this. And there's a beautiful saying in one of the Tafseer, والقرآن كلام الله خالق كل شيء وكيف يشبه كلام الخالق كلام المخلوقين. That the Quran is the speech of Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala, the creator of everything. How can you compare or give a comparison with the kalam of the creator with the speech of the people? It does not make sense. It's just sheer stupidity if anyone think they can do so. However, as we said previously, this ayah is misused. People put this at the front of da'wah. This is not. This is the last. When people have exhausted, you have done everything. Like Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala give personal touches. Ya ayyuhan nas at the beginning. Yeah? Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala speaks in a beautiful manner with the love and so on. Allah calls them to their reality. Now, if people still do not accept, people still points a finger at, people say things about it, even though they have given all sorts of da'wah to them, you have spent as much time as you can, then they are told, go bring a challenge. What's going to happen when you tell them to compare something or bring something like Quran? What's going to be the first thing? If I was to challenge someone, like if I was to challenge Khabib Nurmagomedov, I don't even know his name. Would I just challenge the guy? Like, yeah, maybe someone on the street, 10-year-old. He's not going to be like this, yeah? I need to find out who the guy is. I need to study his weakness. I need to study his strength and so on. So same thing, those people who are given a challenge, you're not going to be just creating and saying something from your own head. Yeah, there you go. You need to be able to study the Quran. You need to be able to ponder and understand how amazingly the Quran is put and how every single verse, every single surah is beautifully connected. Yeah, there's so many things we can talk about. The time is gone, inshallah. We will take it in the next lesson when we're talking about the next ayah. But this is not possible because, as we said, the languages have been diluted. Yeah, like take an example of the English language. What it was, Shakespeareans that people study nowadays, yeah? That language, and now we got a different language. English in every city has a different English, yeah? Now, every language have been diluted so much. And if you want to be able to challenge the Quran, of course you need to be able to understand the Quran first in order to see what the Quran is saying in order to come with a competition. Other than that, you need to be able to understand the language. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to understand through translation. It does not give, no matter what you are reading, and if you're reading in its original language, it's not going to make sense. So there are so many steps you need to take for you to take in order to compete before you even start. So even in that, there is a rahmah from Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. If you are about, you think, yeah, you can do something like it, you need to be able to study the Quran. But when you are sincere, when you're true, what's going to happen in the meantime? You will be pondering over it. You'll be thinking about it. Okay, how did this came about? What is going to happen in reality? It will take you to Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala. So even in the challenge, those people nowadays, we're not talking about those criminals at the time who understood it. Even now, when you're challenging people with the Quran, it is actually a rahmah on them if they are sincere, if they're true in their search. May Allah make some of those people who truly value the Quran and bring it in our lives. Wallahu a'lam. Subhanakallah bihamdik.